What's good? What's good, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Can y'all hear me good? I always got to do the mic check. Mic check, mic check, mic check. Welcome to the channel, everybody. This is The Real Nathan Daly. As you guys know, I'm your law enforcement translator. And I'm going to talk about an interesting topic tonight. We absolutely have to, we got to cover, specifically things that happen here in Atlanta. You guys, as you know, I'm in Georgia. So about 10, 15 minutes from the city. And the city is where all the chaos happens for the most part. We're going to talk about a case or an incident that is trending out here in Atlanta. It's not as popular right now as the Shanquilla Robinson story. As you guys know, there's a lot going on with that. Try not to overbeat that dead horse, but the reality is, you guys, there are still things going on that we need to address, that we need to talk about. And this is actually a very interesting case, and it really touched my heart on a lot of different ways, simply because of the type of situation it is. And the last few cases that I handled as an officer before I retired had a lot to do with some juveniles. And this is a conversation that we absolutely need to have, you guys. So we're going to have this difficult conversation. You saw the thumbnail. We're going to watch some news clips. We're going to discuss it. We're going to go over it. And we're probably going to trigger some people. I'm not going to lie. This is going to be triggering. But it needs to be said. It needs to be discussed. And we're going to talk about it. So before we get into that, you guys, I hope you've had a great day today. So welcome everybody to the channel again. Shout out to all my members. Thank you guys so much. Shout out to all the moderators. I really appreciate all that you guys do. Every time we stream, your support, monitoring the chat, and just kind of being a part of the team. It really means a lot to me. Where we're going to go first? Golly, this is going to be crazy. Shout out to all of you guys. I really appreciate your support. As people start kind of rolling in, this might be a quiet stream tonight. It's going to be a little probably chill, probably low key. Again, this isn't a trending topic. I try to make sure I keep my streams connected to what's actually trending. You guys, that's how the channel grows. But, at the end of the day, sometimes I just want to have a conversation, and it doesn't have to be about anything popular, but it's important. Though it might not be popular, it is important. And it's something that I take very seriously. What are we talking about? We had 2 children, juveniles, shot and killed. And in Atlanta, at 8 o'clock, around 8:30 p.m. at night, wandering around throughout the city unsupervised. If you guys aren't familiar with that incident, cool. Don't worry. I'm going to put you on. I'm going to give you all the information you need. But what is the issue with this? A lot of unruly children, unsupervised children, there's an issue with that. There's an epidemic of that problem within the Black community. We're going to talk about that. Unfortunately, one of the biggest things that I see going on right now is, or just based off of my experience, is dealing with parents or single parent households where they have children that they cannot control, that they suffer from disciplinary issues, right? Their disciplinary problem in school, their disciplinary problem at home. And what happens in these cases, you guys, they call the police to help them deal with their children. I can't tell you, and Drake can also attest to this, how many times we get 911 calls to homes with single parent mothers who are saying that, hey, I can't control my son, I can't control my daughter. Like, how old are they? 8, 12, 16, right? They're completely out of control. They do what they want to do. They don't respect the parent. They don't respect the teachers. They don't respect authority. You guys, and they will call the police. No, this is not an emergency, but they call the police, you guys. And I've had so many cases, so many incidents where, kids refuse to go to school because they couldn't find anything to wear. I had a kid, I remember, refused to go to school, get on the bus because he couldn't find his earrings, right? He could not find his fake diamond earrings. And because he couldn't put his whole outfit together, he refused to go to school. The mother couldn't make them for whatever reason, and she called the police, and I showed up. You guys, it is a problem. The juvenile problem is a huge issue, especially out here in Atlanta. The children run the streets in Atlanta. You could be out. I remember the last time I was out at dinner downtown. This was a while ago, and the kids, juveniles, are out on scooters 10, 11 o'clock, midnight, 1, 2 o'clock in the morning. Where I worked at, kids would travel almost 40 miles from their house to be on the north side of Georgia committing crimes. You guys, I would lock them up and find out where they live at. They live all the way past south of Atlanta, past the damn airport. It is a problem, you guys, and I would call and speak to the parents, and the first thing they would say is, "Oh, I can't control him. You know, he does what he wants to do, or she does what she wants to do." You guys, this is a huge, huge problem, and now we have a kid that was shot and killed, 12 years old, shot and killed at 8 o'clock at night on the streets, the city streets of Atlanta, along with a lot of group of juveniles. I think over like 15 to 20 of them, you know, running up and down the streets, you guys, at night. This is not uncommon. It's not uncommon. You know, I don't know. Who's to blame? Who's at fault? I think a lot of times when we have this conversation, you guys, we start digging into the real topics. And I see a lot of contradictions when we have these conversations. On one end, we want the system to do something about our children, right? And on the other end, we have an issue with the system. Everybody is asking someone else to do that person's job. Unfortunately, guys, as parents, as a parent, you are responsible for your home. You are responsible for your children. No one else is responsible for them. That's a fact. What does that mean? That means if you can't raise them, we will cage them, right? That is the motto that the police live by. If you cannot raise your children properly, you guys, they become a victim of the state. They become a victim of the system. The system is going to be the system whether you like it or not. If you so happen put your children in a position where the system is beneficial in taking them, you guys, they'll take them. It's either the system or it's the grave. And in this case, you guys, it's the grave. You have a 15-year-old and a 12-year-old whose life been shut down. They're out of here, you guys. They caught a soul bond just a couple of days ago. Why? Because they decided to be unmanageable. They don't listen. And they wanted to run the streets, be a part or affiliate themselves with gangs, with a young gang, a young group of gangs, allegedly. And it cost these kids their life. And I've seen it all before. And not only did it cost these kids their life, now it's getting ready to take the life of other kids, the kids involved in the shooting. What's going to happen with them once they're apprehended, you guys? They're probably going to be tried as adults, and they're going to spend the majority of their life in prison. Right? The 2-for-1 special. Right? Kids killing kids in Atlanta. This is not uncommon in Atlanta. Not a couple months ago, we had a situation where at the skating rink, 11-year-old was shot in the back of the head by a 13-year-old. Where'd the 13-year-old get a gun? Right? At the skating rink. What does that mean, you guys? That there's a problem. There's a problem. And it's not white supremacy, right? I think we always get caught up in wanting to blame somebody else or the system. No, this is parenting. This is parenting. Then people turn around and say, okay, it's not just parenting, you guys. There's, it's poverty. It's the system. If you run it back so many years, look at how this transpired. No, it's parenting. I think we're not taking raising children seriously enough. In my personal opinion. The mother of the 12-year-old Zyion Charles is his name. He was the first one shot and killed. 5 other juveniles were also shot at the scene, you guys. Apparently, this is what happened. As you guys are rolling in, hit the like button. Let's dive into the topic, you guys. So what happened? Around 8 o'clock at night, downtown in the city, there's an area we have here in Atlanta, for those who are not familiar with Atlanta, called Atlantic Station. Basically, it used to be a really nice area. It used to be a really, really, really nice area where they had like an open mall. They have, of course, some large department stores. I think Dillard's is over there. They have great food and things like that. Little eatery places. And it was a place where you can go relax, have a good time. It was really, really nice. And then over the years, it was on a decline because of the crime, because of the children, the juveniles, the unruly juveniles, and adults, right? Adults. Unfortunately, guys, a lot of it is us, right? If we're just keeping it real, a lot of it is us. A lot of it is we have a lot of issues with unruly young men and women fight, shoot at Atlantic Station and cause the crime to go up. It's so bad they had to staff the area, right? They had to staff the area with about approximately 26 Atlanta police officers, along with about 10 mall security guards to patrol the area. Mind you, there were approximately like 10 to 15 officers there that night patrolling this area when the shooting took place. It's because what ended up happening, it was two groups of juveniles between the ages of obviously 12 all the way up to possibly 19 is what they're assuming. From 12 to 19, approximately 20 of them out past curfew. Guys, for those who don't know, Atlanta has a curfew. They cannot be out past 8 o'clock without adult supervision. Of course, they're out past 8 o'clock without adult supervision. So what happened? These two groups, which they're saying allegedly are two different gangs, decided to get into an argument. They got into an issue on the compound, on the property of Atlantic Station. What ended up happening? They got kicked out. The guards, I guess the police showed up and said, hey, listen, you guys are underage. You can't be here. You need to leave the property. You guys, I don't go up there anymore, right? I think the last time I went to Atlantic Station was probably about 2-3 years ago. I don't go up there anymore because of this problem, because it's saturated with unruly kids and individuals. And they turned the place upside down. It looks horrible. It's just no different than our mall. Lenox Mall is just as bad, where they have to have metal detectors at the mall. You can't walk through the mall. You got to go through metal detectors. Why? Because they were shooting all the time. People were getting robbed all the time. And you guys, it was us. It was black folks doing it to other black folks, right? This is the reality of it. This was a very, very nice area. The crime has gone through the roof and it's caused the place to decline. A lot of businesses have left and they've increased police presence. And to try to make people feel safer, but nonetheless, right, these things still happen. So these kids get kicked off the compound. They travel maybe 5 minutes, 10 minutes away from the compound, and they're on this bridge, 17th Street, where they clash again. And in that encounter, they started to shoot. Multiple people at the scene had guns. They recovered 3 guns at the scene so far. And according to witnesses, you guys, it sounded like it was a damn war, right? Almost a minute long worth of shooting, gunfire. So 3 guns found, 5 people shot, and at the time, 1 person dead. The 12-year-old boy, Zyion Charles, was killed, pronounced dead at the scene. Another boy was sent to the hospital in critical condition, and that was Cameron Jackson, who's 15 years old. He recently died, I believe, yesterday. Now, this is what I will say before I get into this, you guys. My heart goes out to the family and the mothers who lost their child. And, it's tragic. This is tragic. I wouldn't say anything less. It's tragic. No parent wants to wake up, get a phone call at 8, 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, damn near the next day, right? One parent woke up the next day and was like, they found out their child was shot. Nobody wants to get that call. No one wants to get that call. I've been on the end where I've had to show up at someone's house and let them know that 1, your child was shot and killed. 2, your child is arrested for murder, robbery, and he used your car to do it while you were at home asleep. I've had to go to people's house and make these type of announcements to parents, right? You guys, so I know all too well what it looks like. I've held kids in my hands while they died. I have arrested kids who later have been, as they gotten older, become adults, are now in prison for life for murder. I have a lot of experience dealing with juveniles. You guys, I've been doing this job for 13 years. I've watched kids grow up, kids that I've arrested. I've watched some grow up and I've watched some lose their life, either here in Georgia or out of state somewhere else doing the same thing. I have stories about interacting with kids, you guys. I'm telling you, a lot of these kids are off the chain. They're out of control. And what I've seen is all of them have come from single parent households. Every last one of them. And that's not an exaggeration. That's just a fact. What we're going to cover tonight is very sensitive. It's going to make people feel uncomfortable and it's going to probably piss some people off. You guys, if we don't deal with the truth directly, um, I think this is why we keep repeating the same mistakes now. And this is not an attack against single parents, single mothers. It's not. What I'm saying is that too many of our single parents are having a difficult time with some of these children. What I'm saying is I'm making an observation. I'm connecting the dots. You guys, the facts are the facts, and the facts don't care about your feelings. Um, it's not about whether or not a parent chose this particular setup. Of course, nobody wants to be a single parent. That's absolutely not the case. No one plans for that. I hope not. The reality is that the truth of the matter is dysfunctional households are a problem to children. If you don't raise children right, whether you have two or one or none at all, it doesn't matter. The outcomes can be very, very difficult for kids to actually grow and thrive properly and have a childhood that they actually need in order to be productive adults. Having one parent or having two parents doesn't guarantee your kid's going to come out to be a saint either, right? I've arrested plenty of kids in two-parent households as well. So I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is there is an epidemic within our community, and the system is not responsible for raising your kids. And if your kids are running the streets, they will become part of the streets, and that's just the reality of it. A lot of good things. The parents of the two kids who passed away have a lot of positive things to say about their child. Of course, they're not going to tell you the other side of their lifestyle that they live. I looked at the social media, you guys, and looking at it, you're like, okay, this is a 12-year-old. Okay, I can see how he got caught in this situation and why he's in the situation he's in now. You guys, he's out of here. Why? Because one, he associated with people who were living a lifestyle that was counterproductive for his safety, counterproductive for his life. He lived a high risk lifestyle at the age of 12 and at the age of 15. Granted, yeah, he had great aspirations to be this, to be that. The other one who passed away yesterday, 15, mom said he was going to be a boxer. Yeah, I'm pretty sure he would have been if he would have stayed off the streets, right? Um, this is tragic. So let's take a look at this clip because we have a couple to go through. The mother of Zyion Charles, a 12-year-old, she had she went to a community meeting in Atlanta and she expressed her sorrow, and it was very emotional. There are other people from the community who came up and spoke about the situation, and also in reference to, hey, what can the city do? What is the city doing to help our Black children from having these outcomes? You guys, one of the biggest problems I have within our community is the contradictions on who's responsible, who should be doing what, how much of the responsibility is on the government, on policing. In this moment, people are asking for more police. We need more police. They're asking for a curfew. They want more restrictions. You guys, all that stuff doesn't matter. None of that stuff matters. None of that stuff matters. Curfew, why do these kids have guns? You know what they're doing? The mom said they break into cars, they break into houses, they carjacking people. These are juveniles, and when they get shot by other kids or by the police, then we start wanting to ask questions. You guys, we have been complaining about the juveniles running the streets of Atlanta forever. It's not just our city, it's other cities. But we have this group of kids called the Water Boys, right? They run up to your car, ask for money to sell you water. It's been getting out of hand. They've been jumping on people's hoods. They've been reaching in people's cars, stealing stuff, right? They've been assaulting people who don't give them money, who don't buy stuff. These are all kids. These are all kids, you know. This is a parenting problem. It's not a police problem. The police job is to respond to crimes that have been committed, not to raise children. The mayor of Atlanta can't fix the problems that are going on in the home. People are asking for more social programs, build stuff for these kids. Listen, I'm gonna tell you firsthand, I've seen them build all kind of stuff for these kids and I watch them tear it down. They don't want stuff, right? They want to do what they want to do. And it doesn't work like that. We got to get to a point to where we find the root issue, which is inside the home. Assisting the parents with maybe teaching them how to be better parents, giving them assistance in that area. But the resources can only do so much, because at the end of the day, these kids are going to come out here and make choices and make decisions. Um, Despite if a parent gives them all the advice, all the warnings. And before I play this clip, I had a kid who I arrested and he made me chase him. And after I caught him, me and him had a long conversation on the MARTA train station back to the original location where he ran from. And well, he ran, I chased him. He got on the MARTA station and I jumped on and I ended up arresting him on the train, and then we took the train back. But he was 15 years old. He was about 40, 50 miles away from his home. He took the train to get to where was he? Perimeter Mall. And he was about 40, 50 miles from home. This is during a school day, during school hours. He wasn't at school, right? 15 years old. So I'm having a conversation with him. He has a tattoo over his eye and under his eye. Where did he get the tattoo from? Right. And we're having a conversation. And, I'm like, listen, man, what's going on? Blase, blase. I need your mom's information. Let's talk. Let's talk. He's telling me about how his brother was killed in a dice game. Right. Sound familiar? Right. Take off situation. His brother was killed in a dice game in Atlanta. And it's funny, when he was telling me the story, I remember the case. But he was telling me how he has, I think about like four siblings. He's the fifth, so I guess five. And his brother was killed. He talked about how his mother, is having a hard time. He's been giving his mother a hard time. And what else? What did he say? He talked about how he was always in the streets, pretty much, and that he was a problem. You know, he talked about how Atlanta police treats him. He was shocked that I treated him so nice, right? Shout out to Atlanta. But we had this whole conversation, man. We talked for almost an hour, and I decided to cite him and actually take him home. I didn't take him to juvenile. He didn't have enough points. I couldn't take him to the juvenile. So I spoke to his mom. His mom told me she couldn't control him, you know. And you know what she said to me? She said, "Listen, I got three other kids I got to worry about. I already lost his brother, his older brother. He was running the streets. He got shot and killed. He doesn't listen. I tried, blase, blase, what, I can't do anything about it. And, this situation with Zyion Charles reminds me of this kid that I dealt with. And I want to say one of the most disturbing things about this particular situation is that he too is from a single parent home. His mother said that she can't control him. He's unruly. He does not listen. Obviously, she's asking for help from the juvenile center. She's tried everything. She went to juvenile to write him off as an unruly child. And by doing that, it kind of separates the responsibility. It takes I would not say responsibility. It takes the basically what you're doing as a parent when you file for ungovernable child. I think that's what it's called, ungovernable child. What that does is when your child comes out in the street and commits all these crimes, it's almost like it insulates you as a parent, because there are certain things that children could do that can get a parent charged for in Georgia. And so it insulates the parent to let us know as officers or in the courts that this child has a history of just not, unruly, can't be disciplined, they're ungovernable. Um, Meaning they run away all the time, they're causing trouble, mischief in the streets and things of that nature. And so this is a big, big problem. And so this kid, I released him back to his mom. You know, there's no punishment in that. So what does he do? You guys, he eventually gets out and does the same thing again. And they keep repeating this until something bad happens to them, right? They either have a bad run-in with the police or they have bad run-in with someone's home they went into. I had a case where a kid burglarized the home and the homeowner was there. The homeowner shot one shot, hit the kid in the back. He climbed over maybe two fences and then he fell and died in the backyard of someone else's home. When that lady came home, she saw him slumped over on the side of the fence, and she called us. We showed up, and there he is, right, dead. And the homeowner didn't even know whether or not she actually hit the kid or not. So we're gonna hear from her testimony about how she felt, what she asked for, her plea to the city of Atlanta, saying, I've called you guys over 30 times, asking for help, asking for so much help, and no one helped me. And when I'm looking at it, I'm saying to myself, ma'am, there's nothing that they can do. Unfortunately, it's your responsibility. It's your responsibility. So let me pull up the clip real quick. I want us to talk about it. And I'm really curious to see what you guys think, if you're not familiar, if you haven't heard about this case. But let's go ahead and dive into this video. Might be a little harsh tonight, but at this point. Zyion Charles. First, before we get into that, let me play the news clip so you guys can be up to date on what actually took place, and then we'll get into we'll do the whole timeline. Yeah, we'll do the whole timeline.
One man is dead. 5 others, including some teenagers, are in the hospital after a dispute turned into a shootout. Police saying it was between teenagers and young adults. This all happening on 17th Street near Atlantic Station in Midtown Atlanta. And that is where we find Karis Belger. She joins us live from all of this word. This all unfolded last night during holiday shopping hours. Karis, what do we know right now about the investigation?
Well, right now, the investigation is still going on, and police are asking anyone who may know anything to come forward. But we were able to get some preliminary information from the Atlanta Police Department. As you mentioned, police believe this started with a dispute at around 8 p.m. And police say a large group was escorted off of the Atlantic Station property by off-duty Atlanta police officers. Once the group moved over to 17th Street, that's when they say the argument happened. And police believe there were multiple people firing weapons, and the shooting happened between 2 groups. Now, we did speak with a witness who described hearing the gunshots.
That is absolutely not firecrackers, and it was gunshots. And those approximately probably 30 rounds discharged, I would say, and it lasted for all of maybe a minute, 2 minutes. It was pretty quick.
We did receive a statement from the Wilbert Group, which represents Atlantic Station. It says that Atlantic Station security is working with APD and that the community's safety is a top priority. And police say the victims are ages 15 to 21. They have not released any names or their condition. And again, police are asking anyone who may have any information to come forward.
And Karis, earlier this year, Atlantic Station changed the curfew policy for kids after multiple incidents of groups of teens fighting, some of them ending in gunfire. Their new policy states after 3 p.m., anyone under the age of 18 has to be with an adult, and only 4 kids are allowed per adult. No one under 21 is allowed.
Let me pause it right there. So their curfew, they have a curfew out here. And after 3 p.m., adult supervision, if you're under the age of 18, only 4 kids per adult. Could you imagine? Could you imagine that we have a city now where, as an adult, you can't have no more than 4 juveniles with you? Why do you think they say that, you guys? I'm telling you how bad it has gotten here. How absolutely ridiculous it has gotten out here. The kids are off the chain. They're unsupervised. We're talking unsupervised, unruly children. And the problem is, the parents will tell you as you go up and talk to them, say, I don't know what to tell you. I deal with parents who look at me to solve their problem with their children. You guys, they think it's the police's job to raise their kids. It's the government's job to raise their kids. You guys, this is what's going on. Could you imagine? So what did the witness say? The witness said it sounded like a multitude of guns going off. You guys, they were having a shootout like it was a damn Wild Wild West. These are 12-year-olds, 13, 14, 15, 16, walking around the city with guns. People ask where they get it from. You guys, we have a problem here in Atlanta. They break into cars so much out here. And you have idiots who leave their guns in their cars. And they know that. They break into cars, they break into houses for guns and IDs to commit fraud. 21 and under. If you're under the age of 21, you cannot be at this establishment after 9 o'clock. That's how bad it is. If you're under the age of 21, you can't even be at Atlantic Station. You guys, it's gotten so bad because businesses are leaving. It's affecting dollars. There's a community that's around there and they're tired. Their places are getting broken into. Their cars are getting broken into. You guys, and they spent top dollar to be out there. And listen, I don't like making it about race, you guys, but it's us. It's us. It's us. You know? And that's not to try to point or try to shame or try to make us look bad. You guys, the reality is it's just us. It's us doing it to us. Now you argue, and people want to make this argument that crime is everywhere. Everybody commits crime. That's not what we're talking about. Right? Shout out to you, India. What'd she say? BLM, where are you? Where are you? Well, we know where they're at. They're counting that money. BLM's been exposed, right? Right? Shout out to India. Absolutely. BLM only matters when it's a white cop shooting a black male. How do you enforce this curfew? How do you enforce this curfew? Because now the city of Atlanta is saying we need a curfew. They're saying 7 o'clock. That's what they're proposing. 7 o'clock. Kids cannot be out after 7 o'clock. You guys, that's the stupidest thing I ever heard. Why does that sound silly? Why does a curfew sound silly? 7 o'clock curfew. You guys, I think what people forget to realize, this is why people need to consult with people who do this job before they try to come up with policies and laws. The reality is criminals don't care about time. They don't care about laws, right? And yes, these are kid criminals. They pull triggers. They'll take your life. They're criminals. See, people want to get into this whole thing about juveniles, like, oh, they're kids, their brains aren't developed. All right, bless your heart. Because while their brains are developing, they're taking your soul out of your body. They'll send you up out of here, you guys. I just did a video last night that I dropped about this damn clown kid who decided to shoot and kill this 13-year-old girl. And he was 16. 16-year-old having sex with this 13-year-old. He shot and killed her in the chest. And then went on Instagram asking his friend to help him dispose of the body. You guys, kids out here commit murder too. Say what you want. I've seen them do it. I know what they're capable of. You know, we all empathize with kids, and if they grow up in bad situations, we all feel for it. You know, during I remember, I'm gonna go to the next clip. I remember when I was doing the interview for the police department, and this is my first time being an officer. I was 20 years old doing the interview, and they asked me in the interview, here's a scenario. You get dispatched to a school, and it's a shooting. It's an active shooting, and you're there to eliminate the threat. That's the language. Eliminate the threat. And you go there and you see a child, he's 16 years old, and he has a gun, and he's just shot and killed 13 people, and he's actively shooting people. Say, would you be able to kill him? I said, yeah. Yeah, guess what I'm giving? Guys, I'm giving him a soul bond. I'm sending his ass up out of here. I don't care. His age means nothing to me. It means nothing to me. What does he get? A soul bond. He's out of here, you guys. I didn't even hesitate. What did millennials say? Yeah, gone. He's gone. He's gone. They asked that question in the interview, you guys, why? Because our job. You can't look at a kid and not think he's not dangerous. If he's dangerous, he's actively killing people, you can't have a conversation with him. He's out of here, you guys. That's a fact. Now, how would I feel? Would I be able to sleep at night? Probably. Why? I'm going to sleep good knowing that I saved other lives. It's unfortunate. But you guys, that's the reality of the job. That's the reality. There are kids out here who kill. You can blame who programmed them later. The reality is someone ruined them. Someone ruined them. And that someone is their parents. Whether the parent failed the kid by leaving the home, i.e. the male or the woman, or both parents are together, didn't raise a child properly, it doesn't matter, right? It doesn't matter whether the man or the woman, doesn't matter. They failed their child in some form or fashion. Someone left, someone stayed. They were miserable, dysfunctional household. It doesn't matter. Somebody failed these kids. These kids come out here and they become tyrants or become menaces to society. And then guess who has to clean it up? Right? Guess who has to clean it up? But that's not the only problem with this incident. It's not the only problem. Check this out.
Only 11 alive. A date night turns into a nightmare as a shootout erupts outside Atlantic Station. A 12-year-old boy gunned down and several other teenagers hit by gunfire.
It was the craziest thing. And the police officers are doing everything that they can.
A bullet lodged in the door frame of this truck, just missing Rebecca Walden's head by a few feet. She had no idea the extent of what unfolded around her Saturday night. And as we're hearing more and more of these terrifying stories, the city is looking to propose a citywide curfew for teens. But will that work?
11 Alive's Cody Alcorn is live where the shooting unfolded this weekend. Now, Cody, you spoke with that woman who's lucky to be alive, but you also spoke with an expert on juvenile justice reform.
I did, Ron. William Carbone is a professor at the University of New Haven in Connecticut. In fact, he has...
Before we get into this, I want to make sure we understand what this lady just said and what happened. You guys, this is how innocent people get wrapped up in the foolishness surrounding us. You could be living your regular day-to-day life, minding your own business. You worked hard in life. You made sacrifices. You saved your money. You work hard. You did everything you're supposed to do. And then you're going to your next destination and you take a bullet in the head because you have the ignorance of people around you who are undisciplined. They're out of control. And now your whole life is ruined, destroyed. You're gone. You're dead. You've passed away simply because of somebody else's behavior, you guys. She was out on a date, driving. And because of these clowns were shooting on the freeway, right? We don't know how many bullets they shot. They shot a lot. 3 guns were found. They had an entire shootout. You guys, those bullets go places. It hit her car, almost striking her in the head. You guys, we see this all the time. When people are driving, minding their business, and they catch a random ass bullet. You're sleeping in your bed, you catch a random bullet. You're driving down the street, you're riding the bike, and you catch a bullet, and you're out of here. And then you later find out it was some clowns down the street fighting over nothing, over absolutely nothing. So this woman's life almost ruined because of some stuff some kids were doing. Some stuff some kids were doing because they weren't being governed by their parents. You guys, almost 20 damn kids out, 8 o'clock at night, 12 to 19 years old, walking up and down the damn streets. This is every single night in Atlanta. Like a bunch of damn stray cats. So I want to be clear that the reality is their actions, their behaviors can ruin the lives of other people. If you're killing each other, that's cool. That's none of my business. But when you start to interfere with the peace and tranquility of other people, you guys, it becomes my business. I used to tell criminals that all the time. Sell drugs to your friends. I don't care. If you guys want to fight and kill each other, I don't care. That never bothered me. The moment you bring somebody into your foolishness who doesn't want to be a part of your foolishness, now it becomes my problem. As an officer, maintaining peace and tranquility becomes my problem. When you decide to go in somebody else's home without their permission, it's my problem. I don't care what you do with your friends. I don't care what you guys do together amongst each other. Do not involve people who don't want to be involved. I don't care. I used to have guys, these dope boys, sit up at the gas station. And of course, I know what they're doing. They're trapping at the gas station. And I would go and talk to them respectfully. And they respected me because I respected them. It's all respect. It's all business. And what I say to them, I say, listen, I get it, right? You guys want to make a little extra money? Cool. Now, I'm going to ask you out of respect. I'm not going to search you. I'm not going to go through. I know what you got. I know you got it on you, right? I'm cool. You cool. This is what we're going to do. This is my area. I'm responsible for this area from here to over here. This is all me. I run all of this. This is the conversations I have with them. I said, listen, the business owners don't want you here. You're scaring away their customers. If my mom, right, my siblings, people I care about, drive past this gas station because they don't feel comfortable because there's 80 y'all up here wearing all black and hoodies with your drawers showing, right, smelling like all type of whatever. You're sitting here blasting music in the parking lot. You're not pumping any gas. You don't even have a car, but you're at the gas station for over 6 hours throughout the day. You're here all day. You don't have a job. You don't have ID. You don't have a wallet. You're at the gas station with no car. What are you doing, sir? What are you guys doing here? So I have these conversations with them. I said, listen, today I'm giving all of you a pass, but I'm giving you a warning. Do not come back up here. If you want to sell your drugs, that's fine. You can't do it here. Do it at your house, but you can't do it here. Why? You're disturbing the peace. Everybody should feel comfortable walking into this gas station with their children, but they don't because y'all are here. This is a real conversation I had with people. Now, I tell them they need to relocate, but it can't be in front of these businesses. What happens, you guys? The next day I come back. Out of the 8, 2 didn't listen. And what happened, you guys? I locked them up. And I charged them with felony distribution of marijuana. And the other guy had coke. I locked them up. The moral of the story, I don't care what you do. It's your business. The moment you start interfering with the livelihood of other people, we have a problem, you guys. That's how I always operated as an officer. I got no issues with people. Never. And you know what they said to me? Man, I should have listened, bro. You was cool. You was fair about it. I said, yeah. Yeah. She didn't listen. I can't have you here. I understand you trying to hustle. I respect it. But now you have to respect what I have to do. You guys had no problems at that gas station, that whole strip. No problems. Why? Because people talk. People talk. People talk. Hey man, that Officer Daly, man, he pulled me. He's like, bro, I had that thing on me too. I had that weight, boy. I had that whole weight. And he said, man, you good for the day. But he said, you're not good tomorrow. He said, don't bring it back. Bruh, I ain't bring it back. You know, I remember sitting in court talking to, you know, these attorneys. They come up here and they ask you all these questions. Why did you harass my client? You guys, I had surveillance on these guys. You're sitting here for 6 hours the whole day. I said, why is your client, does he work here at the gas station? There's a no loitering sign. He's loitering. He's sitting here for 6 hours. I pull up on him. What you doing here, sir? You got any business here? You've been here for 6 hours. Oh, I'm waiting on my ride. For 6 hours? Yeah, I was just charging my phone. Where's the outlet? Where's the outlet? This guy was trapping out of the bathroom. He stashed his dope inside the bathroom of the gas station, right? He lift the lid, he put the dope inside. So when you know, it's time to make the exchange, he sent his homeboy inside, get the dope out of the what do you call that? What do you call that thing? The toilet. You know, he lift the toilet top off, he put the dope inside there. So that's how he was doing his hustle. Well, the problem is, right? The owner of the gas station he can't say anything to him. He's afraid his stuff's going to get vandalized. So he lets the guy do it. But see, when I pull up, when nobody's around, you know, we get these messages. Hey, the owner of the gas station, the owner of this store, the owner of that store, they're uncomfortable with these people. They don't want to address them because they get violent, they get loud, they're afraid. So now guess what? Now I have to put together a strategy to remove this threat, remove this problem from this area. They would stash dope inside the gas pump and they would sit at the damn gas pump for hours, you guys. Hours. Y'all hear these rappers talking about I was trapping at the Texaco? Yeah, at the Shell. They park, pull up, stash the dope in there, and then they do their exchange. Never pumping gas. I respect your hustle. You just can't do it here. You can't do it here. And for those who listen, they got a free ticket up out of here. And those who didn't, I took them to jail. No sympathy. Why? Because I already told you once. Do not disturb the peace and tranquility of the people who don't want to be affiliated with your foolishness. And you guys, and what happens, these guys loiter around these gas stations and they're waiting for somebody to slip up. Next, you know, they're in your car and they're gone. They're gone. You know, it's unfortunate, you guys. It's so unfortunate. But let me get back to this news
Led
clip.
the way in the state when it comes to juvenile justice reform. He made it very clear tonight a curfew is not going to prevent crime, and he is not alone. In fact, Rebecca Walden, you just heard from her, she almost became a victim in this shooting on Saturday. She says, as a society, we are failing these children, and she says really the blame lies on all of us.
2 feet away from my head.
It's how close Rebecca Walden says she was to becoming a victim in Saturday night's mass shooting outside Atlantic Station.
All of a sudden, just sound like firecrackers, like pop, 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 and then it was consecutive pop, 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 and then it was like boom. And that's when I got down, and Ron said, "We're hit." I'm like, "What?"
Her date was right. You can see the bullet hole in the door frame and the casing he pulled out.
The next day, I found out about the 12-year-old boy that was killed, and it was just like, oh my God, this really happened.
Zyion Charles died on scene. 5 other teenagers were shot but survived. And now the city of Atlanta is looking to impose a 7 p.m. curfew on anyone 17 years old or younger.
While it may sound like a reasonable solution to the problem, I really don't think it's going to be effective.
Professor William Carbone.
A 7 p.m. curfew. You know what also is a problem? You have kids who have jobs, right? They actually work in this area. They work at night. 17. You know, some 16 are working after 7 o'clock. So the problem is you have the bad children who are preventing good kids from doing what they. This is how it's always been in life, right? The bad always make it more difficult for those who are law-abiding and doing what they're supposed to do. You know, and curfew. Will it have an impact? Absolutely not. Why? Because the parents who are supposed to enforce the curfew, they don't, or they cannot. It's not going to change anything. But here's the issue. The real issue is the police have to enforce it. So now we're going to be chasing after children all night instead of criminals who are actually kicking in doors, robbing people, stealing things, stealing cars, and other problems. You guys, we don't have the manpower for it. We cannot raise kids and deal with criminals at the same time. It's very difficult. It's very difficult. You guys, when I worked on the burglary task force, part of my job, unfortunately, half of that was catching juveniles because they were the ones breaking into the most houses. And so that job was difficult. Why? Because the kids were skipping school just to break into houses. So I was like a babysitter in the morning times. You know, and though a lot of the cases were legit, the fact is you're constantly driving through and you see kids walking around. I have to stop you. What's the problem with this? The problem comes from our community and a lot of these social justice warriors that we have in our community who don't want police activity. They say the police are over policing our community. They're oversaturating our community. Yet in this very moment, we are asking the police to do more. We're asking the police to do more than what we're asking the parents to do. Oh, well, the father's not there. Okay, well, where's he at? Find him. Hold him accountable somehow. Do something. You know what's funny? When men don't pay their child support, you guys, they suspend their driver's license. Right? Maybe we need to start putting policy on them. If you abandon your child and your child is out here running around and you're a man and that's your child, you should be able to get charged too. Something has to give, right? These fathers are walking away from these homes for whatever the reasons. They're abandoning their homes for whatever reason. They're abandoning these kids. We don't know. There's a multitude of reasons why. Regardless, homes are broken. Homes are broken. And the dysfunction is causing chaos within our community. Now, here's a crazy thing. We're asking for the police now to be juvenile police and come out here and pick up kids. We turn around and say we're over policed. And I've said it all the time on this channel, you guys, the police follow the crime. The police follow the crime. Where the crime is, there shall be the police. You can give me all these explanations as to why the crime is here, the poverty, or whatever you want to call it. The reality is, the problem is, the crime is an issue. It's coming from these children right here. What are we going to do about it? Parents. What are we going to do about it? Parents. Curfew doesn't matter. These kids are already not following instructions. Changing the time doesn't matter. Who's going to enforce this rule? What does that look like? What's going to happen is you're going to have kids getting tossed around and beat up by the police, arrested by the police, and unfortunately, some will be shot and killed by the police. And then we're going to say the police are the problem. Why are these kids going to be shot by the police? Because they're carrying guns. These kids are carrying guns. What's the answer? Somebody has to have the answer. You know, this is when we start talking about the school to prison pipeline stuff. You know, we can talk about the system, but you guys, you have to get in the system to be a victim of it. The system is not walking around picking up kids. The system is what it is, whether you like it or not. It's not perfect. But if you give yourself willingly, if you volunteer to be a part of the system, bless your heart. That's all on you. That's all on you. It sucks, you guys. It does. But the facts don't care about your feelings. The facts are the system's what it is. There's nothing you can do about it. Don't put your damn child in the system. Don't do it.
Bone is an expert in youth crime issues. He believes curfews are actually counterproductive.
The shootings are a very, very complex problem that arise out of a lot of social issues that are probably not being addressed within the families and within the communities where they live.
Rebecca agrees with Professor Carbone. A curfew is not the fix.
No, because parents can't enforce the curfew if they don't even know where their kids are.
She hopes this weekend's senseless tragedy will...
Exactly. Exactly. Right? Exactly. The parents don't know. I've broken up hotel parties. You have one ignorant adult parent who decides to get a hotel for a bunch of children, you guys, and then the kids lie to their parents about where they are. Oh, I'm going to Tony's house. Oh, I'm going to Tamika and them house tomorrow. Okay, and then you later find out that your child is at a hotel downtown in the city of Atlanta. Drugs, guns, and sex with minors, all going on inside this hotel. And then I show up. And I'm handcuffing 13 kids. And I'm like, where are your parents at? The parent who bought the hotel, you guys, is at home. Guess what I did when they showed up? I locked them up. I locked them up. This stuff happens all the time. All the time. Hotel parties. One adult buys the room and these kids act up. Drugs, guns, and sex. Hey, this is Officer Daly with DeKalb County Police Department. Hey, we got your kids in handcuffs here at the hotel. You reserved a room for them up here? Oh yeah, it's just supposed to be Tamika and her 3 friends. Okay, there's 12 kids in here. And we're looking for the adult. Oh, I just went to the mall real quick. I'll be right back. Ma'am, it's after 9 o'clock. The malls are closed. How long before you get here? 30 minutes. Oh, okay. I'll see you when you get here, ma'am. We just need to release the kid over to you. And she shows up. Ma'am, you're under arrest. I need you to put your hands behind your back. What'd I do? You guys, you can't make this up. Can't make this up. Double R, what's good, bro? What's good? Good to see you. Good to see you. Yeah. Back in the saddle. Shout out to you. Shout out to you. It's a good brother right here. I arrested the mom. Right? That night, we arrested the mom. One of the moms of the kids refused to come pick the kid up because she was tired of his foolishness. He was always getting in trouble. Guess what, you guys? I had to defax him up out of here. For those who know how defax work, parents are like, I don't want nothing to do with him. Guess what? He was up out of here. Call defax. We threaten the parents too, ma'am. If you abandon your child, we're going to put a warrant out for your arrest too. I ain't getting them. Defax. See, I hear people talk about the issues within our community, and they never worked in the community. They never had to. You see what you see on TV. You hear what they say about these kids. Oh, Timmy was innocent. He was just a good kid. He wanted to be a boxer. He wanted to play professional basketball, and he was doing all this. And no, ma'am. Yeah, he wanted to play basketball about 5 hours of the day. After school, he's a menace to his community. He's a tyrant. It is what it is. It is what it is. It is what it is. Shout out to Dre. DFACS, yeah, Department of Family and Children's Services. I know they call it different things in different cities. Them folks that pick your kids up. Them folks that pick your kids up. That's who I call. Y'all know who that is. Yep. Locked 2 parents up one time. Yeah, I had to call them folks to pick your kids up. You know, I just, I heard of CPS, Child Protective Services. Yep. What I noticed is that talk to someone who actually works in public service. Talk to nurses, talk to doctors, talk to teachers, talk to firefighters, talk to DFACS workers, Child Protective Service workers. Talk to them. Talk to the police. If you guys want to know the truth, what's going on within our community, talk to them. They will give you an accurate account of what I'm saying, and they will tell you it's true. What's happening is that people are like, oh, save the kids, save the world. Listen, they have never worked with these kids. All they need is more libraries. Man, the hell out of here with these libraries. They don't want libraries. That's not what they want. They want to do what they want to do, you guys. They're out of control. No structure, no discipline, no parents. Someone said something to Barbara. Barbara will tell you too, right? I'm telling you, man, you got to work with them. You got to see it. You got to see it, man. You got to see it and work with it, and you'll see it. You'll see it for what it really is. You can't, it's not about building a library or building rec centers. They don't want that. You can't force them to do what they don't want to do. Woke to Truth, shout out to you. Thank you, said Nathan. I just stumbled on this site. You are awesome, awesome, awesome. You're telling the truth, my brother. OMG. Thank you. Thank you. Welcome to the channel. Welcome to the channel. Absolutely, man. We keep it real over here. We have tough conversations, you guys. Tough conversations. You know, this is not to dismiss the social issues within our community. What I'm saying is we can't make excuses, right? We can't make excuses. People want to blame it on poverty, yet you have kids living in poverty who are doing amazing in school. They're not running the streets. They're not causing problems. So again, you know, we gotta be real with this conversation. You know, we gotta be real. We gotta be real.
Create change in her city.
Everything about it just breaks my heart. And I'm a native Atlanta, and I grew up here.
And just to talk about those curfews, Atlantic Station has a 3 p.m. curfew for 18-year-olds and under. The shooting happened 5 hours later, involving hundreds of teens under that age limit, just feet outside Atlantic Station.
All right. Perfect example. What do you say? They have a 3 p.m. curfew. If you're a juvenile in Atlantic Station, you cannot even be there after 3 p.m. And they were there. They were there. So the curfew doesn't matter. Laws are meant to be broken. Therefore, whatever you put in place in front of somebody who doesn't care about laws, they're going to break them, right? They're going to break them. So it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. let's fast forward now, right now. So we talked about that. We talked about how this doesn't just affect these kids. They're now involving people outside of their foolishness, right? This lady almost lost her life. A bullet hit her car. One would argue if she left 5 seconds late, that bullet would have probably hit her. Most likely would have hit her, right? So again, we're just being real. We're just being real, and that's all we're gonna be on this channel. Um, all right, let's dive into this video here. Moving forward, this is going to. Yeah. I think it's this one. Which one is this? Okay, let's check this out. Do I want to play this one first? Yeah.
We would take you back live to downtown Atlanta as police started. Here, let's listen in and update.
Damn, I was muted. My bad, y'all. I was going in too. All right, this video right here. This is the police department is now talking about the investigation. They're talking about what they found out and what they are going to release to the public. We're going to see video footage of the group before the shooting and then the group after the shooting. Apparently they let me see. Can y'all hear me good? Okay, good. So apparently now we're gonna show the footage, the surveillance footage that they caught with the juveniles walking in the city and then going over the information. So let's listen
On that deadly shooting at
what he
Atlanta
has to
Station.
say.
Homicide involving two kids who were in the Midtown space. And again, a senseless death involving a handgun. First, I'd like to offer my condolences to the family. Coming after Thanksgiving and headed to Christmas, the last thing that they should be preparing for is a funeral of their children. And then we're also here to announce an increase in the Crime Stopper Award of $10,000. The next person you'll hear from is the lead detective, Investigator Shepard. He'll go through a video and some still photos where we're asking for the public's assistance in helping us solving now this double homicide.
Okay, you guys aware it's a double homicide at this point. The second kid, his name is Cameron Jackson. He's 15 years old. His mother just came out today, and she talked about Cameron's life and how he aspired to be a boxer and that he was a good kid and that he had nothing to do with these kids, which is not accurate, right? She's trying to paint him to be a good kid. I'm sure he's a good kid to her. But what I tell parents all the time, your kids live a double lifestyle. The lifestyle that you know about and the one that you don't know is the second one. And usually at school, kids have a different personality that they show amongst their peers that they do not show around their parents. This is a fact. And so not to diminish her views of her own child, but this incident, him being shot and killed, this shooting was a direct attack against him. And so that speaks volumes, right? The reality is your kid is not a good kid and he's running the streets and he's gang affiliated. So, unfortunately, that lifestyle catches up to you. When you live a high risk lifestyle, you are subjected to high risk consequences. i.e. the police involvement, i.e. shot, i.e. killed, or jailed, prison. You guys, this is the reality of it. And when you look at these kids' social media, you guys, when I took a look at it, you're like, okay, well, what do you expect to happen? They are exuding the lifestyle on their social media. And so, again, I get it. The reality is your child was not a saint. Though nobody's perfect, he was out here causing problems. And those problems caught up to him. And it's unfortunate. It's unfortunate because he's only 15 years old. But his ass should have been in the house like a lot of other 15-year-olds, right? That's the reality. Let's see what the detective has to say about this case, because after the shooting, you guys, the group that shot everybody, they were celebrating. But listen what he has to say.
I'm Detective Shepard, the Atlanta Homicide Unit. I am the lead detective on the case. I've been working the case since day one, the night of the incident. From my investigation, I was able to determine 2 primary suspects, 2 shooters. And these persons that I'm going to point out in this video is a person that's responsible for the entire shooting. So if you pay attention to the video, this is Mr. Zyion, the child that's deceased, that's 12 years old. The top left hand with the black and yellow jacket. That's
Look at this shit. Look at this. Look at this. Look at all these damn children. Look at all these damn children, you guys.
the top left hand with the.
Are you kidding me? This is the one over to the right, the bottom right is Zyion, right? This is the 12-year-old who was shot and killed first. He was shot and killed on scene. The second one, Cameron, died just yesterday. You know, he was in critical condition. They didn't say where they were shot at, but look at these kids, you guys. I counted initially when I watched this, at least like 18 of them. And this is not uncommon. You know, this is not uncommon.
Zyion, the child that's deceased, that's 12 years old.
Look at that. Look at that. Look at that.
Left hand with the black and yellow jacket. That's my main shooter. This is right before the shooting incident on 17th Street.
And this is the second group.
Clip, the black male wearing the blue hoodie.
Look at that. Look
White
at
letters on the front.
Look at that. 3, 6, 7, 8. That's 8 right there. That's the second group. 8 plus that 18. Come on, man. That's or 8. I don't know if that's 18, but that's almost 20-something children. 20 of them.
He's the second suspect in this incident. These are the same group coming into the MARTA station. That's the Art Center MARTA station. This is right after the shooting. Again, you see the primary suspect.
Now, this is after the shooting. Look how casual. They just got done having a shootout in the middle of the street. This is after the shooting, you guys. They're casually, nobody's running. No one's trying to get away or get out of Dodge. They are casually diddy-bopping down the steps, laughing, joking, having a good time after they just fired multiple shots at a group of other kids. Like, this is what I'm saying, right? This is all us. This is all us, right? I don't see a white man in sight. People say the white man maybe do it. I don't see him. That must be him, this little glare right here. That's white energy. Look, you guys, this is us all day. This is us. We love to kill, man. What is that about? You guys, I say it's the music, man. It's the music, the music, the music, the music. So influential. They just shot up multiple. They just had a shootout. Could you imagine? Back in the day, after a shootout, you're supposed to scatter. You're gone. You're out of here. It's like nothing happened. You couldn't convince me they just got done shooting up somebody. You couldn't convince me. No way. Hey, this group right here, they just got done shooting up somebody up the street. No way. Chill, calm, cool, collected, doing cartwheels. Whew. Come on.
They're getting ready to board the train. They ride the train from different various locations throughout the city. So again, this is immediately after the shooting. What I was able to determine through my investigation, Zyion was killed from this person's bullet. This person is also a part of Zyion's group. There was not a back and forth shootout between the second male, who's now deceased. So,
Okay. What did he say? I think he said what I think he said, but let me just rewind it back a little bit.
there was not a back and forth shootout between the second male, who's now deceased. So, no, it wasn't. It wasn't. So, we have a group that was in the area. This group here. We have Cameron, who just died yesterday, riding by in his scooter. The gentleman you see here in this video pulled out a handgun, shot multiple shots, directing it at Cameron. Zyion took a bullet, indirect shot meant for Cameron. So did the other victims out there. All bullets were meant directed at Cameron. Everybody else was collateral damage from his shooting directed at Cameron.
Okay, so what he's saying is Zyion was a friend of the shooter. He accidentally got shot, right? Zyion got killed by accident. He's actually a part of the shooting crew, right? He's a part of the group. He's a part of the gang. Zyion is 12 years old. He's part of the gang. He got shot by his own member. Alleged gang. Let me just say alleged. I got to say alleged. So Zyion got killed by accident. But there's no accident when you're throwing bullets around. Why? Because bullets don't have a name. Ah, the irony. The irony. Died by the hand of your own group. That's tough. I don't cry any tears for him. Why? You guys, listen. You run with the crew, you die with the crew. Soul bond. His own crew member gave him a soul bond. You guys, and he's only 12 years old. Could you imagine? I can't even remember what I was doing at 12 years old. I wasn't in the streets, though. Wow. So what are they saying? The mom now, the second mother, Cameron's mother. My son's a good kid. He wanted to be a professional boxer. The detective is saying all the bullets were made or meant for Cameron. All the bullets. All the bullets. All the bullets were made for Cameron. You guys, they were after Cameron. Who is Cameron? The mom is saying he's a boxer. He's a good kid. Wrong place at the wrong time. No, he wasn't. He wasn't. He was where he wanted to be. And they shot him. And I'm gonna tell you why they shot him, because the detective mentions it here, and I'm gonna lay this out for you guys, and I'm gonna tell you what this thing is about. I'm gonna break it down for you before all this stuff gets released. Everybody shot at Cameron. Cameron Jackson, he's 15 years old, and they sent bullets his way. What the hell is he doing at 15 to get a bunch of kids shooting at him? Come on. Come on. Like, come on. He's 15. He's 15, and they shot him up. The detective is saying they intended to kill him. Everybody else got shot by accident. So whoever was doing the shooting, 5 people got shot, 2 were dead. Wow. Well, I'm going to tell you why he got shot. It's a little word that he said that caught my ear last night.
Again, that's my suspect, the bottom right-hand corner. This is the group he's with.
So the crazy thing is, the detective he has video footage, he has photos. Best believe they know who everybody is at this point. These are somebody else's kids, right? Let's not get it twisted. These are someone else's children, right? Somebody is raising these killers. Who are they? Now, this kid or these shooters, a couple of them, probably 4, maybe 3 or 4 of them, you guys, once they get caught, guess what? They're being charged with murder. Murder and aggravated assault with a deadly weapon, with a gun. You know what's going to happen? They're going to spend the rest of their adult life in prison. I don't want to hear anybody tell me that the white man did it. I don't want to hear anybody tell me that the prison is overpopulated. I don't want to hear anybody tell me that the white man put them in jail. You guys, that's not true. This is why my channel exists, to knock down a lot of that foolishness that people say within our community. You guys, because when I worked, this is the stuff that I saw all the time. All the time. Oh, the prisons are overpopulated. Yeah, with motherfuckers who need to be there. We always want to try to defend the 1%. The ones who accidentally got framed, where the cops were corrupt, the judicial system was corrupt, and they just happened to be in the, okay, yeah, the 1%. The 1%. We always want to hold a press conference for the 1%. The wrong place at the wrong time %. The cop didn't like me %. The judicial system is racist %. I get it. I get it. They set me up %. I get it. Y'all, I'm talking about the 99%. That's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the ones who bought the ticket, took the ride, and walked right up in the prison on their own accord. I'm talking about these guys right here. I'm talking about these guys right here. That's what I'm talking about. And the reality is, there's a lot of black men in prison. Yes, disproportionately. We say it all the time. Yeah. Because we're disproportionately committing the crimes. We disproportionately commit more violent crimes. We're disproportionately shooting guns at each other. We're disproportionately killing one another. You guys, we're disproportionately all over the place. And this is what happens. You're going to wonder why, when this case is over, you had 3, maybe 3, 4 shooters, but then 6 people are getting arrested. You're going to wonder why. You know, this kid I locked up, I looked up his case because they charged him with murder. And 3 people were also charged with murder along with him, though they never pulled the trigger. You guys, we are out here committing these crimes and we're getting these 3-for-1 specials. What does that mean? That means you don't have to be the trigger puller to get charged with the crime. You just have to participate and assist the killer. And you're being charged, right? You're also being charged with party to a crime. Could you imagine? Party to a crime. You're a part of it. You participated, you partied with, you celebrated with, assisted the killer. You're gone too. You're out of here, you guys. Out of here. And I'm cool with that. People say guilty by association. Some people say it's not fair. Party to a crime. Out of here. 3-for-1 special. Out of here. What's the problem? 2 children are dead. 2 children are dead. Prisons are being filled up with black bodies. One could argue that black bodies are volunteering to go to prison. I challenge anybody who thinks they can debate me on that. Shout out to Woke, to Truth. Thank you so much for the super chat. Says, please keep telling the truth. Don't back down. The truth shall make us free. Yes, absolutely. Trust me. Over here, man, and you're new to the channel, Woke to the Truth. Listen, you got to check the library, brother. Check the library. Uh-oh. Michi said I can. Michi definitely will. Michi's in the building, y'all. Michi's in the building. Shout out to my love, Michi. She's in the building. She will definitely debate me, but we always have good debates. We always come back full circle. We always come back. Michi focuses on the systemic issues that are impacting the community. I focus on the fact that we are doing shit that we can fix on our own that's impacting the community. We all are here. We're all here. We come back full circle. The reality is there's a multitude of problems that are impacting us, but we are the only ones who can fix said problem. That's my philosophy. That's my theory. We are the only ones who can fix it. No one else is responsible. No one else needs to. No one else cares. You might think they do. They're not going to do it. You can't then complain about how racist the system is and then turn around and ask the system to fix the problem. It just doesn't work, right? It doesn't make sense. It's an oxymoron. It's funny because something like this incident that's going on with Shaquilla Robinson, right? We'll touch on that real quick. No one likes the feds, right? There's a portion of our community that don't like the police, that don't like the FBI. When the FBI is speaking on things that make us look bad, when we don't want to acknowledge, when we don't want to be held accountable, when I'm looking at the FBI data, talking about the crime and the violence that we're committing against each other, how astronomical it is, how ridiculous it is for us to be such 13%, a small percentage. When I start talking about that, folks don't want to hear nothing about the FBI, right? They don't want to do nothing with the FBI. But the moment the FBI is doing something to help Black folks, we want the FBI's involvement 100%, right? This is very true. Michi said we have different focuses, but the goals are the same. Absolutely. We want to fix us. That's all that matters. But I love your perspective, Michi, and your perspective is not wrong at all, obviously, right? We both know that. I think it's just at a point to where we just have to. No one is going to save us but us, and it's no one is going to fix any systems. We have to fix anything that's going. We got to fix it with our own hands. We can't vote the problem away. We can't buy the problem away, and we can't beg the problem away. People just have to. And as Michi will tell you, we have people on the ground working. We need more people, grassroots people on the ground. You got to sacrifice to fix this problem. Someone said, why is Satan not making their kids do this? SSU off the chain. Please, you guys go check out Michi. Great content. I always got to ask her if YouTube got her on or off. Please go and check out her website. Always dropping knowledge, always dropping gems, and always a wealth of information. So someone said, y'all are funny. I'm reading the chat. Yeah, let me go back to this. So where are we at? The detective is talking about people don't know there's cameras all over the city of Atlanta. City of Atlanta is starting to look like London and stuff where they have cameras everywhere. So I'm not surprised they have the shooting on tape. They know who the actual shooters are. He's pointing out the shooters. He's pointing out the faces. He's letting people know eventually these guys will get caught, you guys. So let's go back to the video, hear what he's talking about.
Again, that's my suspect, the bottom right-hand corner. This is the group he's with. During the train ride, they antagonize different customers. They flash their waistband as gesturing like they're going to put a weapon out. They flashed gang signs.
All right, let's pause there. We can't even get to the video. What are they saying? They just got done shooting and killing somebody. They get on the train and they're still acting up, right? They just got done shooting a group of kids. They get on the train. Why? You guys, the guns make them feel powerful. You know, having a gun gives you a false sense of security. It gives you a false sense of power. What is he saying? They just got done shooting somebody or a couple bodies. Then they go and they sit on the train and they're flashing, they're lifting up their shirt, they're showing their gun to people, they're throwing up gang signs at people, they're doing all this stuff. You guys, they're begging, they're asking for it. They get on the train and they start harassing the people on the train. You can't make this up. This is what I'm telling you. They're just out creating chaos, pure chaos. Who's going to stop them? Not you. Not you. You see a bunch of kids and you just try to like, oh my God, like, here we go again. And you just want to just disappear. You just want to disappear. They get on the train and they start creating havoc. They just got done killing somebody. They feel emboldened. They feel empowered, you guys. The power of the gun, man. I'm telling you, it does something to people. Police too, right? It's a gun.
Antagonized another group at a gas station, and they also seem to be celebrating.
Now he's saying they went to a gas station and started messing with some more people. Man, this is the thing I tell people: when you have dealing with folks who are in groups and you got them feeling they feel overconfident, more than likely one of them got guns. It's something about a gun and people in large groups makes them feel powerful. It's such a dangerous drug, right? Power. And when kids have power, when they feel like they can make somebody do something, obviously they go overboard.
Making gestures and talking about the shooting.
So we're just asking your viewers to call Crime Stoppers where they can remain anonymous. Any information will be helpful in this investigation. We're asking individuals that were driving on the 17th Street Bridge, if they have video, they know anything, to call Crime Stoppers again where they can remain anonymous. We're just asking for the public support. As always, this is definitely how we solve crimes, is with the aid of the public. We'll ask for a couple of questions, but again, just realize that it is a still very active investigation, and the focus is on the information we're releasing today.
Detective, just to clarify, did you say that there was only one shooter? Were there multiple shooters?
There was multiple shooters.
Do you know how many exactly? Is it two?
At least three.
At least three shooters.
Yes.
At least three shooters. Detective, can you just clarify a couple of things? So at this point in the video, when they're getting onto Marta, do they know that Zyion is dead? Did Zyion go with them, and do they realize that he's not going back with them?
That's a great question. Zyion was with them, as you see on the video, before they got to the place where the shooting occurred.
Right.
He's not with them anymore. I'm not sure if they knew that he's dead at that point, but they definitely knew that people was hurt and people were shot. You can hear them talking on the train. You can hear them talking and celebrating, talking about the gunshots and things like that. So I can't confirm that they knew that he was dead at that moment.
And you said Cameron was on a scooter. Can you explain that?
Yeah, so right before the incident, you have three scooters that ride by this group of people that includes this young man. Riding, the third person was Cameron, somebody else's name. They say that's Cameron, that's our position. That's when shots rang out. The shots directed to Cameron.
Okay, let's talk about what he's saying right now. This is the key to it right here. First, let me give a special shout out and thank you to Miss Lane, my Lois Lane. Thank you so much. She's also a member of the channel for this amazing super chat, $20 super chat. Thank you so much. You know, I appreciate anytime you guys donate to the channel. It means a lot. I'm very, very grateful for it. So thank you so much, my dear. As always, you know, listen, he is the detective is explaining this right now. He's saying that Cameron rolled by, I guess, in a scooter. He said the group said that's our op, right? He said opposition, but the slang term that they use, that the gang members use, or just what they use on the street, the lingo that they use is ops, my ops. You probably heard them say this before. Ops, 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 my ops. It's something they rap about all the time. Your ops is your enemy, right? The ops can be the cops. The ops could be the rival gang group. Ops. He said, there's the ops. That's our ops. What do you do? What do they say? You kill the ops. That's what you do. That's what they sing about, rap about all the time in the music. He's saying that they acknowledge that he is the ops. This guy, Cameron Jackson. And they unloaded on him. They unloaded on him. Yep. And they said at least 3 people that they know of fired guns. And they killed him. And in the process, they killed Zyion, who was a part of their gang. So there's the ops. Then he said they got on the train and they started bragging about the shooting in front of people that's on the train. You guys, they don't care. It's a good question. Millennial said, what does a 12-year-old do to become an op? That's a, you know what happens, man. They're gang members now. I don't know. I couldn't even tell you. All this sounds crazy to me, to be honest. You know, it all sounds crazy to me.
That's when you have all the other collateral people that was shot. All the bullets were meant for Cameron. Zyion took the bullet. He's deceased on the scene. Then we have the other victims that was also shot. Everything was directed to Cameron. The male in the black and the yellow hoodie, he is the main perpetrator, the main suspect that fired off most of the rounds that killed and hit most of the people in there.
But you're saying this, but the black,
Yes, the black
but you're
and
saying
yellow.
the one in the blue shirt with.
Now, in our community, you know, we have this thing where we don't snitch, right? Should someone speak up about this? Who was the shooter? Someone going to report this to the police? Who shot? Who killed? I'm curious. At what point are we going to kind of get away from that mentality? No snitching. Well, we got 2 kids killed. And these killers need to be off the street. These killers need to be off the street. What did the mother say? And this is the bulk of this that really got my attention. I mean, this case was crazy to begin with. It was the mother's cry for help. It was her cry for help. And that's what really, 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 really threw me. A cry for help. And we're definitely going to cover that. Shout out to you, Lisa. Thank you so much for this super chat. Thank you. Thank you. A super sticker. Also a member of the channel. Thank you so much, my dear. Always supporting. I really, really appreciate it. You know, you guys, I'm always so grateful for you when you show up for the streams and you participate. I see you guys going in the chat. I love it. I just enjoy it. I mean, I know these are very difficult conversations to have. Last 30 minutes, I'll definitely, if you guys want to come up, anything that you want to say, I definitely want to hear what you have to say. This is a very, very difficult conversation to have. And I want to play this video with the mother, a clip from this. It's a 4-hour, originally was a 4-hour like city council meeting in Atlanta. And you had groups, people come up to speak to the board, to the members, the city council members, about the crime, about the issues with the kids. And they're like, hey, what are you going to do for us? We need you to do something. And I started watching, I haven't watched all of it. One of the things I might do is probably try to stream it on here and we watch it together and we kind of just talk about it. But you guys, I got 30 minutes in, I had to turn it off. I had to turn it off because majority of people come up there talking, we're talking, and so far that I watch, we're blaming it on the system. blaming on the kids. Do something about these kids out in the everything was you do something about, instead of no, y'all do something about these kids. That's not the system's responsibility. I couldn't watch it. And when I was listening to the mom, bless her heart, you guys, I couldn't watch it. I couldn't watch it. You guys, it's the parents, man. If your home is dysfunctional, that's nobody's fault but your own. I'm sorry. It doesn't sound good to say that out loud. It doesn't. Because I realize people in our community suffer from accountophobia. I call it accountophobia, the fear of being held accountable. Why? It doesn't feel good. It doesn't feel good when someone puts a mirror up at you and say, look what you did to yourself. It doesn't feel good. It makes it a lot easier to go back and say, well, actually, if this white person, that white person, and this was this way and that was this way, then I wouldn't be like this right now. I mean, yeah. Makes it easier. The devil made me do it. Shout out to Money or Mark. He said, I blame Satan. So it's that the devil made me do it. Well, technically, the devil can't make you do anything. Right? I mean, he's enticing. He can't make you do anything. Can't do anything unless you allow him, right? That's how this whole thing works. Accountophobia. The fear of being held accountable. Why? It doesn't feel good. It doesn't feel good. So when I'm listening to her, she's not making excuses, but she's trying to shift the blame. She's trying to shift the blame.
My name's Erica. I called everybody I could. I called them. I asked for help. I said, I have a 12-year-old son who did not have a father. I work 2 jobs. I'm a single mom. I have 5 kids. I'm not blaming it on the single parent because the daddy was.
She said, I'm a single mother with 5 kids. Here we go. Right? I'm a single mother with 5 kids. And the daddy's not in the picture. Guys. What's the reality? The reality is nobody cares. Right? The reality is the world we live in doesn't factor in the fact that you can't handle your life or that you don't make good decisions. The world doesn't care, meaning the world is set up in a way to where whether you do good in life or do bad in life, doesn't matter. None of that matters. That's why excuses don't hold any weight. We are responsible for our decisions. We are responsible for our choices. Well, someone would say, well, her parents or their parents or his parents. Okay, but Kevin Samuels had the saying he would always tell people that the world doesn't owe us any, what did he say? Any excuses. Or the world doesn't owe us any explanations. You guys, this is life. Life isn't about fairness because life essentially is not fair. There's nothing fair about it. You can't have a conversation about fair because life doesn't equate fair. Life is what it is. Fairness has nothing to do with anything. The truth of the matter is there's a lot of things that are not fair. But life has nothing to do with that. Life doesn't care about your situations or your circumstances or what your parents did or did not do or taught you or did not teach you, or about 400 years ago, slavery, or who sold you in or who didn't sell you at all. Life doesn't care about those things. It has nothing to do with anything. There's just the cards you were dealt with. And then how you deal with them. That's life. That's life. Life has nothing to do with fairness. Has everything to do with choices, decisions, actions, ambitions, drive. Fair. No one cares. She starts off and says, I have 5 kids. Man, that's your fault. That's on you. That's on you. The father's not here, I have 5 kids. Ma'am, that's a personal problem. And because of your personal actions have impacted the lives of other people, one could argue that you're selfish. You're selfish. Why? You created all these lives that you can't take care of, that you cannot manage. And because you cannot manage these lives you created, they have came into the world now and they're causing problems for other people. Selfish. Irresponsible. Abuse of your womb, your power. And now this is the consequence. 5 kids, no father. You guys, it gets heavy. It gets heavy. Facts over feelings. The quickest way to poverty is single parenthood. The highest poverty rate within the Black community comes from single parents. Whether mother, father, doesn't matter. We all know in the Black community that the single parent household is astronomical. It's high, you guys. It's high, almost 70%. Now, that's not to say that fathers aren't present or fathers aren't active in the child's life. That's not what we're saying. We're saying if you want to increase the risk of poverty in your home, be a single parent. If you want to increase the likelihood that your child be delinquent, be a single parent. If you want to increase the rate that your child can get caught up within law enforcement, caught up within the penal system, be a single parent. If you want to increase the likelihood that your child suffer from depression, be delinquent, be suicidal, be a single parent, you guys. These are all data and statistics that has been proven to be true. She has 5 kids. 5 kids. 5. And the son that got killed was 12 years old. What are the other ages of the kids?
Wasn't it like, but I still had to do it. I worked at 2 jobs. I lost my second job. I didn't have a babysitter for my kids. I had my kids come to work with me. So that's how.
She had 2 jobs, lost 1 job because she couldn't find a babysitter. This is where the poverty sets in, you guys, because as a single parent, you have multiple kids. You can't do 2 things at once. This is why traditionally the men worked and the women stayed home and they raised and watched the children, you guys, for a reason. For a reason. Traditionally, right? People knew long before us that kids needed to be supervised. They needed to be supervised. They need to be managed all the time. You cannot take your eyes off them. Why? Or society will raise them. The streets will raise them. The TV will raise them. Social media will raise them, you guys. You cannot take your eyes off of children. You can't, because they're impressionable. They need to be watched. They need to be monitored. What did she say? She has 5 kids, 2 jobs. Ma'am, where are you watching the kids? Who is watching your children? This is why the single parent household doesn't work, you guys, because you can't do both. Shout out to the moms and the fathers who do an amazing job at being single parents, right? Shout out to you, but it's hard. It's hard. There's no single parent who says they want to be a single parent. They're doing it because they don't have a choice. But nobody wants that. It's hard, you guys. You're working 2 jobs to take care of 5 kids. It's not enough. This is the poverty, you guys. This is where the poverty sets in. So now what happens? When you're gone, what are your kids doing? They're running the streets. They're running the streets. Worked 2 jobs, lost a job because she couldn't find a babysitter. And then what is she? She's working a job where now she has to bring her children to work. What kind of job is that? Where they let you bring your kids to work? And is that job paying any money? Come on, you guys. At what point did she realize she couldn't manage these children financially, you guys? Was it kid 1? Was it kid 2? Was it kid 3? Or was it kid 4? Or was it kid 5? At what point did she realize that this wasn't a good idea? You guys, it's irresponsible. Come on. It's irresponsible as an adult. Come on. 1 child will financially cripple you. Ma'am, you have 5. Come on.
I lost my second job. I couldn't stay at home and hold Zyion hand. And when I tried, I reached out to him. I work at the school. The social worker have tried. I called the police on my son. I know my son, he come in the house late. I called the police several times. I said, could y'all please lock my son up? I can show y'all text message, lock him up so he...
Can you please lock my son up? I've called the police several times. I just told you this. Parents call the police on their kids because they don't listen. They're unruly. They're running the streets. They're committing crimes. The parents know it. And they call the police all the time. You guys, this is a fact. This happens all the time. What is she saying? She's pleading, please lock my son up. Could you imagine? Could you imagine? You guys, I see this all the time. So when I get online, I'm telling you what I see and you guys don't believe me. I'm telling you for a fact. There are so many, every child I took to jail was one parent. One parent. One parent. You guys, these broken homes are destroying our community. Destroying our community. Talk to the teachers. Talk to other officers. Talk to caseworkers. Talk to DFACS workers. You guys, I'm telling you, every home, every single kid I put in handcuffs, single mom with multiple kids, with multiple fathers. I'm not lying. It's not a game. It's not a joke. I'm not poking fun at women in our community. I'm telling you, there's a problem here. There is a problem here. These men are out here throwing their seed around and anybody who leaves the door open for them to throw it in. That's it. Throwing the seed around. In and out of prison, in and out of jail, throwing their seed around. You get some sperm. You get some sperm. Huh, you get some sperm. Oh, thought you dodged it. You get some sperm. You guys, these Below barrel, bottom feeding Negroes, these men, no purpose, no life, nothing to offer the world, are out here reproducing all the time. And someone is giving them soil to put their seed in. This is a fact. Some of the worst men in our community get the most options of women all the time. Multiple women. Sometimes one woman is sharing, multiple women are sharing the same guy. The same dusty, drawn out, worn out, no purpose, no good male in our community. The dope boy, the street guy, right? Come on. They're sharing the same guy, the futures in our community. Look, we got Future, we got Nick Cannons. They're rich. But guess what? You got the broke ones doing the exact same thing. Nowhere to live, someone is giving them a place. No car, someone's giving them the keys. You guys, the degenerates ones in our communities always seem to have the most options. Come on. Breeding and parenting are two different things. Making kids and raising kids are not the same. We're good at making kids, you guys. We're bad at raising them. Where are the fathers of these 5 kids? Where are the fathers at? Making kids and raising kids are not the same. Going back to traditional values for the Black community would absolutely save the Black community. Absolutely. We're too hypersexual. We're too all over the place. Women, y'all need to guard your womb. Fellas need to be mindful with your seed.
He can't know how I feel to be sat down. Please, they told me. He gotta have a point support system. I gotta take my son to the juvenile system, to get him somebody to help him. I said, what 12-year-old son, running the street gonna come with me? Can I come by myself and give y'all information? Y'all go find my son. They told me, no, we cannot help you. My son fought mental illness. He had to take pills. It was my fault. I stopped giving him pills because he had a bad allergic reaction at school one day. I had to take 5 EpiPens, and that scared me. I thought I was going to lose my son then. So I stopped giving him medicine. That's why he didn't take the medicine, but he was fighting mental illness. I tried, y'all. I called the police office almost 30 times. 30 times in the last 2 years. They told me they can't do nothing. I said, he's out breaking these folks' cars. Could y'all please get him up the street to take him down, let him know, but somebody killed my son. And I can give y'all this police officer number. I talked to him 7 days ago. And I said, I'm begging you, could you get my son in custody? He said, I can take him down to the juvenile system all day. It's up to them to keep him, and they're not going to keep him.
They're not going to keep him, and she's correct. You guys, here in Georgia, I don't know how it is in other states, but we have a point system. And if I'm not mistaken, Dre would have to remind me if he's still on. I believe it's 21 points. You got to accumulate 21 points. If I'm not mistaken, don't quote me on it, but it's a lot of points. It's a lot. Every crime that a juvenile commits is between 1 to 5 points. If they do something very heinous, like a felony, it might be 5 points. Obviously, murder, we're keeping you, right? But crime after crime after crime after crime, what happens is they get arrested, they get let go. They get arrested, they get let go. There's no punishment. There's no punishment. And so until they get like 21 points, juvenile detention center will not keep them. They have to point out, is what we would say. You guys, it gets exhausting. It gets exhausting. So the kids know that they can't get in trouble for real. So then you have adults who hire juveniles to commit crimes, right? Because they know if the juvenile gets caught, they're going to get slapped on the wrist. If the adult gets caught, he goes to jail. So the adults will hire the juveniles to commit a lot of the crimes for them. Carry the guns, carry the drugs, break into cars, break into houses. And then when the juveniles bring back the stolen goods, the adult pays them for it, right? Now you 16, you 15, you 14, your mom can't afford you them damn Jordans or the Balenciagas or the Yeezys, right? Can't afford you. See how this all turns around, right? You can't afford it, so then what do? You then want to commit crime in order to get the money that your mother can't, because she's working 2 jobs, to care of you 5 kids that she can't afford. So you can look fresh. When you look at this kid, Zyion's social media, you guys, the truth is in his social media. What the mother can't do, he goes to the streets to try to get. Right? Why? Because our community is so just engulfed in material things, you guys. These kids will kill for a pair of shoes, a pair of name brand shoes. They'll tie you up, duct tape you for a pair of name brand shoes. They'll kill you for an entertainment system, a PlayStation. You guys, these are real stories. These are real stories. What is she saying? Saying the juvenile detention center would not arrest him because he didn't have enough points. The police can't do anything. It's not enough points. Again, I tell people all the time, we want to blame white folks all the time for stuff that goes on in the black community. And I'm telling you right now, every person I had to deal with, they were called. We were called to this house. We were called to the neighborhood because another black person called on another black person. You guys, the police get involved that way. I understand you don't like the professionalism of some police officers. I get it. I believe some officers can be too quick to pull the trigger. I get it. But here's the reality, you guys. The crime brings the police. The crime. The crime. She's asking for it. These are the parents that I would talk to all the time. People in the community calling the police all the time. Why? Because the majority of the people who live in the black community are law-abiding citizens. It's that 5% tearing up the community, you guys. And we can't do anything about it. You can't even say anything to these kids. They have no respect. They carry guns. They'll vandalize your stuff. They'll break into your house. They'll break into your car. You can't tell them nothing. So people don't say anything. They just call the police and be quiet. And then these kids are in stolen cars. They get in high-speed chases. They run out. They turn around real quickly. They get shot by the police, and then we want to go and march and complain. We just forget about everything else. Forget about everything else. We get mad when they get shot. We get mad when they get shot. We want to do something when they get shot. She is pleading to the city council of Atlanta. I've called over 30 times. I've asked officers to arrest my son because he's out here causing problems. He's breaking into cars. He's committing crimes. He's coming home late. He's 12 years old, you guys. She said, I have no control over this child in my house that I'm taking care of. I can't control them. I have 5 other kids. The fathers are not present. I have to work 2 jobs. I have to bring the kids to work with me, you guys. I have no control as a parent. You guys, she failed her kids. She failed them as a parent. It's not the city's job. It's not the police's job to raise your kids. What the hell is going on? 5 kids, and you have a 12-year-old you can't control. Ma'am, you failed your children. His father failed him, failed the household. Get him up out of here. He's gone, you guys. This 12-year-old got a soul bond. He's out of here. Guess what? Guess what? These things will self-correct. These kids, these black kids ending in prison is self-correcting. When you cannot discipline yourself, you leave it up to someone else to discipline you. Listen, you're out of here. Stuff the damn prisons. Stuff them. You can't complain about the system and say it's racist and then beg the system to fix your problems. No. Ma'am, you failed your children. And your father and his father has failed him. It's nobody's responsibility but everybody inside that house. Period. Soul bond. Self-correcting. You can't raise them, the police will cage them. If the police don't cage them, the streets will grave them. Oh well. Oh well. Shout out to LA Wilkes. He said, Thin Black Line. He said, people want it both ways. They vote for laws to handcuff us till the crime affects them directly. Then they want us to go against the same laws they wanted. Yes. What are they calling for? Curfew for Black children. Because we're the only ones out here in the city of Atlanta tearing the city up. You guys, I'm going to walk through the city. I'm going to record it. That's what I'm going to do. I think I'm going to do that this weekend. And I'm going to show you what it looks like. I'm going to show you what Atlanta looks like after 8 o'clock. I'm going to show you what the kids are doing, looking for opportunity. You would have thought we're in a third world country. Listen, what is he saying? It's all fine and dandy until now. The contradiction is at an all-time high in our community. An all-time high. You know, the curfew is going to impact Black kids. Why? Because they're the ones that are not listening. So just last year, we're talking about we don't want the police presence anymore in the city. Too much police, too much police. Now that Black kids are being killed by other Black kids, now we need more police. We need more curfew. Why are there not more police patrolling? We don't feel safe. You guys, this is what I'm telling you all the time. The people are asking for more police because the people in the community are causing the problem. And it's us. It's us, you guys. It's always been us. Man, shout out to you, Eloise. Thank you so much for this wonderful super chat. What you said was spot on. Spot on. Black Lives Matter. You know, and I did a whole video on that. When I first got on YouTube, I was telling you guys about Black Lives Matter was a joke. And people were trying to come for my neck. I told y'all it was a joke. I saw it in real time. You know, we're so easily impressed with symbolism and tokens and trinkets. We're so easily moved, man. We're so emotionally invested that we cannot see the forest through the trees. It's embarrassing. It's embarrassing. It's embarrassing. And when I watched this city council meeting and I'm listening to the speakers come up and complain and say, what are y'all going to do for our children? What? What? These kids need something to do. No, you guys need to go and investigate inside these homes. Go spend money and investigate inside these houses. You guys, these are our tax dollars. These are our taxes going to take care of other people's homes who can't take care of their kids. But yet we'll turn around and have another one tomorrow. No, we need to start freezing some testicles and freezing some eggs. Listen, don't let me get started. Don't let me get started. It starts at the home. It's always started at the home. Go into these households and leave everybody else alone. Go in these households. If you're accepting government assistance, it should be mandatory that you have to undergo parental training, that your phones are monitored, that you give up and relinquish a lot of your freedoms in exchange for government assistance. Meaning, I'm gonna be all in your ass. I'm gonna be all in your business. What you spending your money on, who's up in the house. I'm assigning somebody to you 24 hours a day. I'm gonna be on your hip all day, every day. And the moment you violate, I'm cutting you off. If you look pregnant, I'm cutting you off. I'm cutting you off. You have women who get on welfare with 2 kids, and then they're on welfare with 6 kids later. You guys know. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. I'm telling you what I've seen. Listen, if you want government assistance, you need to relinquish all of your rights. Okay, government says you got these kids that are bad. Okay, cool. We're sending them to military school. Yep. Yep. And we have permission to whoop their little asses. Kids come back, they be universal soldiers. Listen, man, don't put me in charge. I'll have the problem solved. That's why. Don't put me in charge. People be like, I don't want that government assistance, boy. They be all in your business. All right, well, I guess you don't get a job then. I guess you don't get that job. If you want government assistance, you need to give it all up. Oh, what happened to the TV? We on government assistance. They don't allow us to have television or social media. What happened to my cell phone? These kids walking around with damn iPhones. What happened to my Jordans? You on government assistance now. You wear these Air Ponies. You wearing these Air Ponies from here on out, and you wearing uniforms. Oh, I want these dreads, and I want these dreads, and I want the tips to be gold. I want to bleach the end. Nah, we shaving all that off, player. All that going on. Oh, I want to play outside at 7:00 at night. Nah, you're on government assistance. You can't go outside after 6 p.m. And you're gonna sit here and read these 8 books before bed. Yep. Government assistance. I'm gonna assist your ass, all right. I'm gonna assist you all the way back to being a productive citizen. I'll pay for that. I will gladly pay tax dollars to correct a lot of this foolishness going on. I'll pay for it, absolutely. But you're gonna do it my way. All this, I got government checks, and I'm selling my government checks for blah blah, selling this for this and that. Man, hell nah. I know people walking around the damn store with $400 worth of government money that they can buy groceries with, and they're selling it to other people for cash. Hey, I'll give you $300 on my food stamps if you give me $200 in cash. You guys, this is what's going on. This is what's going on. Put me in charge. I'll have the problem fixed. You got people begging to get off government assistance. Man, I gotta get up off that shit, bro. They all in my damn business. I can't bring no girls at the queer. I can't bring no men over, blah, blah. Nah, all that. I'm cutting everything off. Anything that creates any type of conditioning influence, negative influence, all that, brain drain, all that. Matter of fact, I'm taking your kids and I'm sending them to a remote state where I'm going to whoop them into submission, and they're getting back corrected. When I send them back to you, they're going to be chip Cheerio with bow ties and goddamn lace front. Man, they're going to be squared away. Squared away. And the moment you violate, you're off. Drugs in your system, you're off. Period. broke, got you can take the money from the government and you still find money to buy weed and drug, all kind of other food. Man, nah. What you eating? Salad, health options, right? Don't get me started.
He had to really hurt somebody for them to keep your son, but now he's hurt. I wanted him to feel it. I'm hurt. I wanted him to feel how it feels to be set down, let you know this is life, Zyion. But now I'm feeling hurt.
She said that she wanted to teach her son, wanted somebody to sit him down, teach him, because she's afraid he was going to get hurt. She was trying to warn him. Yeah, she tried. It didn't work. And what happened? He didn't listen, you guys, and he got killed. Let's pray that his death is a wake-up call to other kids his age. And it's unfortunate that he had to be the one to be sacrificed, like so many other children who don't listen, who want to run the streets, who want to play in gangs and be a part of gangs and terrorize people. Come on. There's a lot of parents out here suffering because their kids were shot and killed because of what they decided to do, because they didn't want to listen. Bless their heart, you guys. He's out of here. He's out of here. Soul bond. A soul bond, you guys, is the final bond you get. It's the final one. All this in and out of jail, in and out of prison, you catch that soul bond, that's it. It's the last bond that you need. Got a soul bond. See you, player. See you on the other side. Bless his heart. When you don't listen. When you don't listen. Yep. I sit back and I watch it all the time. Kids that don't listen, catching soul bonds. Huh? I should have listened.
My son is gone. I don't have no son no more. He's gone. And I cried out for help. I cried out for it, y'all. I promise y'all, I cried out for it. But I felt my son. I felt my kids. I felt myself. I felt like I didn't do enough. But I cried. And I cried. I called him when I was at work. I cried, y'all. I cried. Because y'all, please help. Help these young boys while they still got a chance. Because I don't have a chance no more. I don't. Say something.
It's disappointing. It's sad. It's tragic. Keep their families in your prayers, you guys. Yeah, she did. She acknowledged that, that she failed him. What more can you do? There's just so much for us to really discuss and cover as it relates to our community and the violence and just the lack of parental guidance. I mean, there's just so much, man, and something has to change. Who has the answers? Who has the answers? Any questions? Do you guys have any questions before we shut this down? I know this was a little heavy. Any questions? Any questions? Does anybody have any questions? What time is it? It's almost midnight. Well, it is midnight. I'm not gonna hold y'all. You know, we started a little late tonight. I wanted to cover this. I had a, been having issues streaming lately. I've been having issues streaming. Um, Someone said no, she lost 2 of her boys. Did she have another son that was taken? I'm not sure. Um, Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. As Ed said, any call-ins? It's 2 hours 30 minutes. It's gonna be late if I do any call-ins. I don't know if anybody wants to come up. Let me see. Maybe I'll throw in maybe 20 minutes. 20 minutes. If anybody wants to come up, I'll start doing my closing. I'll do my closing. If anybody wants to come up, maybe add something to it. You're more than happy to come up. I'll drop the link. If the moderators, if you could throw it around for a little bit. I'll stay up for about 30 more minutes. You know, it's late, but if anybody wants to say anything in regards to this, I'm curious. But my closing thoughts on this, and yeah, I'll give it about 20 minutes. I don't know if the video would be too long. You know, I don't know. You guys, I've seen so much, and I think, you know, what it motivates me to do this channel is being able to provide that insight, you know, that perspective that a lot of people don't see simply because they don't do the profession. I've had an opportunity to work with a lot of different professions in this job, and I work with people, right? I work with people. I go inside their homes. I talk to the parents about situations. I talk to kids. I've seen so much, you guys, and so, you know, when I see something like this, it's completely senseless, it's unnecessary, man. Like the death, the killing. You know, as a people, there's a solution. There's a solution, and actually, this is a good question. Millennial Mark TV says, and you guys, I do all the Q&As at the end for those who are new watching. So it's an opportunity for you guys to ask any questions. There's no question that's off the table. Put a Q in front of your question so I can catch it in the chat, and I'll pull it up on the screen. He said, do you see any solutions to this only? There is, yeah, I do see a solution. The solution is simple. The solution is simple. The execution is hard. The solution is simple. The solution is that we need to reinstill traditional values within the Black community. That would self-correct 80% of the problem, right? 80% of the problem. That is a simple solution. The problem is carrying it out is difficult. Why? Because anything that requires people to make a sacrifice, people in our community right now, they've had a taste of an unhealthy behavior, a taste of unhealthy freedom, a taste of unhealthy levels of lack of accountability. And when you have gone so far in the deep end and you cannot swim, you know, it's hard for you to make it back. You know, I'm a swimmer. I like to swim. You swim too far out in the ocean and you don't have the skills to swim back, you'll drown. And that's what we're seeing here, right? We're seeing our community drown because going far out is exciting. But the further away you go, the further away you are from protection. See, traditional values, somehow the feminist movement, media, entertainers, social media has made traditional values and traditions look like a prison. look like something that would hurt you or make you feel like you're not enjoying life, right? They made you believe that through marketing and propaganda. So now traditional values looks like a prison to you. When in actuality, the prison, the gates or the parameters or the boundaries that you saw that you tried to interpret as a prison were actually, those were actually, it was a barrier of protection. It wasn't a prison. They made you believe it was a prison. But the truth of the matter is, it was actually a protection. You were imprisoned in a barrier of protection. Now, they tricked you to go outside that barrier. And now you're outside of it. You're too far. And now you're suffering. It's not a prison, it's protection. You know, because it's structured. There's rules. There's guidelines. There's boundaries. And when you operate inside those things, you can be protected. You can't protect those who don't listen. That's the problem. That's the problem. So American culture is very toxic, and it has ruined cultures, absolutely ruined cultures, because it entices you to want to leave your structure. It entices you to venture outside of your boundaries, outside of the perimeters that were there and built and designed to protect you from all of this foolishness that's going on. And the key is getting people to understand that what they believe to have been a prison has actually have been their protection. And until we convince our people that, they'll forever avoid traditional values and conservative values because they're listening to people who benefit off of their dysfunction, who benefit off of them being in despair. And anytime you make money off of another person's despair, you guys, they'll never, ever, ever give you the information and the tools needed to self-correct. And that is the problem with this country. They make money off your suffering. So why would I take you out of it? Why would I take you out of it? It's profitable, you guys. The dysfunction in the Black community is making someone a lot of money. Some people say that's white supremacy. No, I say it's capitalism. I say it's economics, right? We're mislabeling the reality of it. It's economics. It's not white supremacy. It's green supremacy. It's about money. It's always been about money. All the way from slavery, you guys, it's been about money. It's been about money. So, you know, sold by West Africa for money or things, trinkets, right? One could argue Black folks been selling each other out since the motherland. All right. Maybe I'm wrong. Yep. Maybe I'm wrong. Questions. Any last questions, you guys? Any questions? Feel free. Yeah, feminism. Feminism, birth control, shame, taking shame out of it. You know, when they took shame and embarrassment away, people got emboldened to be crazy. You know, they've gotten emboldened. You know, you've taken that out. What you know, sexual freedom. It's no longer intimacy and sex. That's supposed to be like a ritual, right? Like that process, engaging with a man and woman, engaging with one another, the intimacy, that's supposed to be a ritual between two people, sacred, right? Think of it. It's supposed to be one of the most sacred things you can do with a person. A woman in her virginity, a man penetrating her, she's bleeding on him. One could say that's like a blood contract, right? That's that vow, you guys. That's that vow between two people. And now, man, people throw the box around like hopscotch. It's just you just jumping in the box, right? Y'all know hopscotch, right? Right? It's not sacred anymore. It means nothing. Intimacy, sex, it means nothing. That's why it's promoted all the time. It's meant to destroy, you guys. You got men out here, woodchuckers. They out here just chucking wood left and right. They don't even care. They don't even care where it's going. They don't care. They don't care. And it's causing a lot of dysfunction. Sexual immorality, another one. You have kids who, right? They're like, I want to be a turtle today. Right? Okay, Timmy, you can be a turtle. You got kids that they wake up and suffer from gender dysphoria, you guys. And now we're making it acceptable. Oh, I don't want my testicles anymore, Mom. All right, son. We'll get them taken off. Right? I mean, no judgment. I'm just saying this is where we are. Right? Gender dysphoria. I want to be a millionaire, Mom. Who's gonna put $1 million in my bank account? Just be what you want to be. Right? This is where we are. Babylon. Right? It's out of control. It's out of control. Whitney said a teacher got fired because she refused to meow back at a student that identifies as a cat. Oh, Jesus Christ. You can't make it up. You can't make it up. You can't make it up. It's out of control. It's all out of control, man, when you think about it. It's at a point where probably, all like-minded people have to raise their kids together at this point, because you can't afford to have your kids tainted and contaminated by a lot of the ideologies that are being pushed in some of these schools and in some of these cities. It's bad. You can't even watch certain movies, certain cartoons. It's bad. If you don't want your child being exposed to certain things, it's like you having less and less control. It's by design, man. It's by design. And but it's absolutely destroying communities, families. So men need to protect their seed. Women need to guard their womb. That is a fact. It's bad. It's at a point to where there's a lost value in that family, lost value and partnership and things like that. And what's happening is the men no longer see. Before, if a man had a child with a woman that he even didn't intend to marry, he would bring shame on his family for not taking care of his home, not taking care of his children. There's no shame in that. You got men who walk out, they 2-minute dads. Oh, you got pregnant? I can't do it. Right? There's no shame in that anymore. There's no village of men who are like, you're pathetic. You're a disgrace. You need to throw yourself off a building. Right? There's none of that. So now these boys come out here and they throw their seed around and they're getting all these women pregnant. There's no consequence from society. There's no consequence from the village, from the community. There is none. And there's no consequence from other women, because now the other women look at him and say, oh, he got 3 other kids by 3 other women. But the dick's good, right? Cuckoo choo. Now you're baby number 4, baby mama number 4. So unfortunately, men are simple-minded, and they only do what women allow them to do. Men are so simple. So simple, they're stupid. Simple to the point of stupidity. A lot of men are. And they're like they're like easily conditioned. A lot of men are easily conditioned. That's why, unfortunately, a lot of things that need to be fixed, women are going to have to make the changes in order for them to fix, because men are too lazy and they don't care. And when they're not being shamed into changing, why would they change? Right? Why would they change? Women control all the power when it comes to sex, when it comes to having children. Women own that. They own that. No man can enter a woman without her permission. A woman can make a man a father or not make him a father. Women have access to that, have power over that. So it's one of those things. That's why they go after women. That's why the propaganda machine goes after women, because they know if they can defeat the mind of the woman, then everything else falls apart. Communities will fall. Kings will fall. Kings will not be created, right? So, women have a lot of power, more power than they acknowledge. Way more power than they acknowledge. Danita, thank you so much, my dear. She said, thank you, Nathan, for tackling these very difficult, very heavy, much needed conversations. The truth will set us free. Real love is tough. Yeah, real love is tough, boy. It is tough. Thank you so much, my dear, another member of the channel. And thank you for this super chat. Thank you so much. Tough conversations, you guys. I didn't know what direction this conversation was going, but I know it was gonna go. Sodom and Gomorrah, absolutely right. That's exactly what it's looking like. That's exactly what it's looking like. Yeah. You guys, it's tough, I mean, a lot of people are trying to blame in the community. I hear things on YouTube all the time. We're constantly trying to blame Black women. You guys, this is a mutual problem. Men are equally just as responsible as the women, So I don't do the blame game. We are both equally responsible for this problem. Women can't make poor choices without finding a poor man to make the choice with, right? So it's like, at the end of the day, the men had their shit together, then, guess what? Even if the woman made a poor choice, she made a poor choice with a good guy, right? So at the end of the day, I see both sides of the blame. We both have to rise and do better, but men and women, both have to make better choices in selecting partners. Both have to be more intentional. There's enough work on both sides equally at the end of the day. And I know sometimes we get into this whole who's responsible for what. But we just got to keep it real, you guys. Got to keep it real. That's my thoughts in reference to this. Listen, you guys, I really appreciate all of your support tonight on this conversation. I know it was difficult to have. We covered a lot. I'm really curious to know your thoughts, those who catch it on the playback. Listen, you guys, best way to support this channel, definitely share the videos. Share the channel, you guys. Get more people involved. We got to have these conversations. I know they're difficult to have, but nonetheless, it's so necessary for us to talk about it. We're going to be covering a lot of difficult topics coming up. I have some videos for you guys. The next live stream, we're going to be talking about the Idaho stabbings. I've been following that case, kind of piecing some information together. I'm going to share with you. If you're not familiar with that, these 4 kids in Idaho, I think university was killed, and I'm definitely going to cover it here. So that'll be our next live stream. Just finished putting some things together for you, but check out the last video I dropped if you haven't seen that, about that crazy psychopath kid killed that 13-year-old girl. So so much to talk about. So much to talk about. Anyways, you guys, thank you so much. Thank you so much for everybody who supported tonight. Thank you for being here. You guys, I really appreciate it. Thank you so much to the members of the channel. I appreciate you. And thank you so much to my moderators. You guys are a lifesaver. I really, really appreciate the work that you put in. And those who are watching tonight, I appreciate you so much. And with that, you guys, let these truths find you where the lies have left you. Good night and God bless.